Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another Historic Brawl gameplay video, and today we are playing Hearthhull the Worldseed. So Hearthhull is one of the two face commanders, I should say, from the precons, from the Edge of Eternity's precons. For those who don't know what I mean by face commanders is, I don't know if the correct term is commander and lieutenant, but in all precons they have the commander, which is on the box and everyone sees, but then they have a secondary legendary that you can play as the commander. You basically swap them around and the deck doesn't change at all, and in this case it is Zarel, Genesis Shepherd, which we'll get to in a bit. So this is the face commander for one of the precons. I said is a spacecraft, which a new rule for this set is you can play anything that has a power and toughness and is legendary as your commander. On Brawl, we've always kind of had that rule. We can play Planeswalkers as a commanders on Brawl, whereas in Commander, it has to have a text box that says you can play this as your commander. The other precon is also a spacecraft as well. So Hearthhull the Worldseed, what is it? It is a 4-mana commander. You can station it obviously at 2 or more charge counters, has pay 1 and tap it, sack a land, draw 2 cards. You may play an additional land this turn, and at 8 or more charge counters, it turns into a 6/7 flying vigilance haste, and has when you sack a land, each opponent loses 2 life. Now, in some of the videos, you will hear me say something like, "Oh, don't want to turn this on the turn it comes down, or turn it into a creature the turn it comes down, because we won't be able to tap it." Whereas as an artifact, you can tap it because I've got it at haste. With haste, you can make it a creature the turn it comes down, attack because of vigilance, and then tap it to sack a land and draw 2 cards. So, because of its abilities, the name of the game is get out lands, sack them, get out more lands for value, ping your opponent and draw cards, and that is what the deck is set up to do. So I've put them in lots of sections. I'm not going to go for every card, but the first section is other ways to sack lands. Eldritch Reclaimer, we can pay 2, tap, sack it, search a land library for any land card, not just basic. Sylvan and Safe Keeper, sack a land, target creature we control gains Shroud in their turn. Shroud is like hexproof, but for both players, no one can target it. And obviously, if we have Hearthhull fully powered up, we can just sack every land we've got basically and kill our opponent. Endless Restoration and I think Endless Restoration is the only version I left in. Sack a land, search library up 2 basic land cards, then put it on the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle. If we control a creature of power 4 or greater, we search our library for 3 basic lands, put in the battlefield tapped. Spring Loon Druid is very much the same, but it's an ETB trigger on a 1/1. Scape Shift, sacrifice any number of lands, search a library for that many lands, put them in the battlefield tapped. Gitrog Monster, beginning of upkeep, we have to sack a land or we sacrifice Gitrog Monster. We also may play an additional land each of our turns, and then when one or more lands are put into our graveyard from anywhere, draw a card. God of Old Fae Curse King. When it enters or attacks, we sack another permanent, in this case probably a land. And then whenever we sack a permanent, we put a +1/+1 counter on Corvold and draw a card. World Breaker, it's a big Eldrazi, and when we cast it, exile target in artifact, enchantment or land, or we can pay 2 to sack a land, return this card from our graveyard to our hand. And then Famished Worldsire, we have played this on the channel before, an 8-mana 0/0 with Ward 3. It has Devour Land 3, meaning for every land we sack, it comes into play with a 3 +1/+1 counters, and when it enters, we look at the top X cards of our library, where X is this creature's power. So if we sack 5 lands, it'll come down as 15/15. We look at the top 15 cards, and we put any number of land cards from among them on the battlefield tap, then shuffle. And obviously, with a fully powered up Hearthhull, we can sack a lot of lands and kill our opponent. Next, we have just some things like lands being sacrificed as well. So a bit like some of these. So Yuri, whenever we sack a permanent, we put a +1/+1 counter on Yuri, and then Yuri dies, it deals damage equal to power to any target. Mayhem Devil, whenever a player sacks a permanent, it deals 1 damage to any target. And then Zarel, the Lieutenant, is a 2/5 flyer. We may play lands from a graveyard, which is also a very key thing. I'll get to that in a bit. And when we sack another non-token permanent during our turn, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to Zarel's power on up to 1 other target creature. So this can get other creatures get big real fast. And next up, we just have ways to get back cards from our graveyard. Aftermath analysis, when it enters, we mill 3, and then we can pay 4, sack it, return all land cards from our graveyard to battlefield tapped. Ramanat Exavator, Crucible of Worlds, Conduit of Worlds in Iceland Explorer lets us play lands from our graveyard. Conduit of Worlds also lets us choose target non-land permanent in our graveyard. If we haven't cast a spell this turn, we may cast that card. If we do, we can't cast additional spells this turn, only do it as a sorcery. And Ice Explorer lets us play an additional land on each of our turns, and it does have landfall whenever land you control enters mill a card. And then Spending Reclamation, get all lands from our graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That's really powerful. And Soul of Ringgrace, when it enters or attacks, we may put a land card from any graveyard onto the battlefield tapped under our control, and then we can pay either green, red, or black and discard a land to gain 3 life, draw a card. Soul of Ringgrace gains indestructible at end of turn, tap it as well. And next up, we have ways to play additional lands. Again, if we sack a land and going to have multiple land drops, we can just sack a land, get it back, sack a land, get it back, sack a land, that kind of thing, just getting value. So Azusa, 2 extra land drops, Dryad, 1 extra, but it also fixes our lands because all lands we control every basic land type. Wayward Sawtooth, and there's additional land. It's a 3 mana 5/5, but it can only attack or block if we have a City's Blessing, meaning we have 10 or more permanents. Although once we get a City's Blessing, we don't lose it. Oracle of Maldire, play additional land. We can play lands from the top of a library, but the top of a library is revealed. An Ancient Green Warden, we can play lands from our graveyard. If a land entering causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. And then next up, we have some landfall synergies. Nissa, Scoot Swarm, Tireless Provisioner. Tireless Provisioner is really, really powerful in this deck because of Biotech Specialist. Biotech Specialist, when we sack an artifact, it deals 2 damage to its opponent. We're going to have a lot of landfall triggers. We're going to create a lot of food or treasure, which means we can just kill our opponent with a Biotech Specialist. Undergrowth Champion's pretty cool. Landfall, put a +1/+1 counter on it. But if damage will be dealt to it while it has a +1/+ counter on it, prevent damage and remove a single +1/+1 counter. Mythweaver Pock, we all know and hate. Multani, Yavimai's Avatar, a 6 mana 0/0 reach trample. Gets +1/+1 for each land we control and each land in their graveyard. And we can also pay to return 2 lands we control to our owner's hands, return this card from graveyard to our hand. Rampaging Bailiffs, landfall, create 4/4, and then Omnath, landfall, create 5/5. And when Omnath or another elemental we control dies, Omnath deals 3 damage to any target. And next up we have Other Ramp, and we are focused mainly on land ramp as opposed to artifact ramp. We do have Arcane Signet, and Biotech Specialist does create a land token, but everything else, we either have landfall ramp, that should be in there, or it's put a land onto the battlefield. I really like Burgeoning. Burgeoning has been printed on Arena for the first time in Edge of Eternities, not in the main set. Whenever an opponent plays a land, we put a land card from their hand on the battlefield. This is obviously great in our opening hand because your opponent has to play a land in turns 1 and 2, basically. If we play this turn 1 and we go first, we're just going to ramp. Obviously, we need a lot of lands in hand, but we do have 40 lands in the deck. And next up, removal. Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, Infernal Grasp, Toxic Deluge, Bridgewalk Battles as a Fight, Foe the Profane, and Binding of the Old Gods is ramp as well. And next up, just some good stuff. Ragavan, because we're playing red. Vigorous Farming, lands we control enter untapped, and the beginning of our end step, the topmost land in our library perpetually gains when we land tap for mana and additional green. This is, from Alchemy, you could easily just play Spelunking instead. Augur of Autumn lets players lands and or creatures from the top of our library. A Robberoid is just a really powerful card. Immortal Sun, we don't have any Planeswalkers. The Endstone, not got a chance to play over yet, but I really like the idea of it. And Aghalim's Awakening is a land, but we have a lot of mana, so we can potentially get a lot of creatures back from our graveyard if they get removed. And then the mana base is as you would expect. We are mostly green. We do have a Nykthos because we are mostly in green. We do have a Gemstone Caverns. We do have Ancient Tomb. Which is, I think, is there. The new lands look amazing, but they're really hard to see because it doesn't have the name at the top. So we've got Ancient Tomb, we have Gemstone Caverns, and we have Strip Mine. There's a deck going around in Timeless, which I will play at some point, with a Azusa, Ice-Till Explorer, Strip Mine Lock. If you have ways to play multiple lands, you strip mine your opponent's land, you play it from your graveyard with something like Ice-Till Explorer, and then you play it again with something like Azusa, and do that until you just take out your opponent's lands. And obviously, cracking a fetch land counts as sacrificing a land, so it triggers a Hearthhull, the Worldseed's final ability, and it triggers things like Mayhem Devil and Zarel and Yuri and anything else that likes us sacking anything. So that's a deck. There's a bit of a long deck tech, but this is a really, really powerful card. I actually played it, not in paper, but not on Arena, on Tuesday evening, and absolutely hammered my opponents with it. So that's why I really wanted to play it. So it's really, really powerful deck and really fun deck as well. Hope you enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe. Please remember to leave a comment down below. I'd like to give a shout out to my patrons. They are Arcadius, Mihal, Adrian and Thomas. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you everyone else for your support, and I'll see you all in the gameplay. Our opponent goes first. This is up against the Expel Commander. Well, we don't have a great opening hand. This is better. We can get down Burgeoning on turn 1. Which means we can do some ramping. Doesn't even have to come onto the battlefield tapped. What are they fetching? Yeah, that doesn't count as playing a land, does it? We'll get a black. We'll get Underground Mortuary. And we'll keep a Fell the Profane. Let's play out a Deathrite Chamois. And then a Windswept Heath. And next turn we get out the Provisioner. And after that, the Hearthhull. And we get another black source, so we can potentially cast Fell the Profane. I might be trying to figure out whether they want to play a land. They do want to play a land. Or maybe a Conduit of World, so we just carry on. That is an instant. Oh, unfortunately, our Deathrite Chamois still has Summoning Sickness. Well, let's just get Zeotora's Proving Ground. Well, we'll play out the Provisioner. And then let's play out Agadeem's Awakening. We'll create a treasure. Now, unfortunately, Fell the Profane doesn't allow us. We can't play Fell the Profane if they play out a land with Burgeoning. What we do next turn is we will play out Hearthhull. Station Hearthhull. Do they have something? Well, that sucks. We'll create some treasures. So we can cast Hearthhull next turn again. And hopefully start drawing some cards. We do obviously need Provisioner to hang around to cast, to station the Hearthhull. There is Riku. We'll crack. Let's go red-green. Grab another treasure and Surveil. Yep, okay. We could sack kill Riku. Let's sack a land. We'll just sack a forest. Draw a couple of cards. Create a treasure. We'll play out the Scoot Swarm with our treasures. And we'll crack this now. And fetch a... Let's get a Raucous Theatre. Yep, I like lands. I think, yeah. Just for value. We're going to create so many Scoot Swarms. We don't have any land to play out, so no point playing the Grazier. Disciple of Phrones, Power Druid, nice. Next turn we get out a Conduit of Worlds, sack a land, play lands. We can turn on the Hearthhull. Yeah, we'll just... I think we'll station with our Scoot Swarms and then play out Conduit of Worlds. We could even then, right, station, station, station. Oh, we're one short. I'm an idiot. I can't do maths. We get a boatload of triggers. Treasure. Scoots. Conduit of Worlds. Right. We will attack him with the Hearthhull because it has vigilance. Right. Let's sack the Profane. We ping them for 2 and we draw 2. Ooh, Scape Shift. And we will play out. That's another felt. The thing we just sacrificed. And next turn, I think we Omnath, then Scape Shift. And create everything. We may break Arena. You know what, I can actually cast Deathrite Chamois as well. So I haven't cast anything else this turn. I haven't cast a spell this turn. I'm very confused. Have I? I don't think I have. Strange. What have they got? We said on our turn. But I think we are about to break arena. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can't quite kill them with scape shift. Although we probably could. Go on, opponent. First time I played burgeoning, because obviously I think it's the first time I've had it on arena in Age of Eternities. Obviously really good early game when you've got lands in your hand. Later on it's a bit less impactful. Alright. You have a Birds of Paradise. Right, let's attack. If they take it, they're dead. They do take it. Right. We'll sack the Further Profane again. We'll play out Further Profane. Let's pay 3 life. Let's get down on Omnath. Oh, we still have another land, don't we? And then we'll just scape shift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't scoop! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It doesn't matter. Because we've just sacrificed 9 lands. Created a huge amount of 5/5, which when they die we deal 3 to any target. Yeah, so that was amazing. So we're up against Zarel, which is the lieutenant from our commander, which we have in our commander, and we've got a burgeoning, so I think this is a keep. We do obviously need more lands, but we do get a way to play lands from our graveyard, which really, really helps. So we will get a... we have the mortuary. Let's get a red-green. And we'll whack down this. And obviously, they have to play a land. Fortunately, no. Well, not the best draw, seeing as we don't have any lands. But if we draw a land, we can conjure it of worlds. Well, I've got the biotech specialist. We haven't got this in our deck. We will conjure it. And then we can provisioner. Yeah, we still don't have a land. My God! Sorry, we were going to go provisioner, but now we're not. Yeah, we'll crack one now. And crack one in our opponent's turn. Let's just get to Vale land. I'll keep a Windgrace. And if we crack one in our opponent's turn, we get the additional land as well. Yeah, Conduit Wells and Mythweaver Pock is just a bit silly. We are going to shuffle away Solar Windgrace. Do we have any more Savannah lands? We do. We have a Raucous Theatre. Yeah, let's keep Nissa. I have an Oracle, so pretty good. And a Malevolent Rumble. What do they put into hand? Yeah, Specialist. Maybe we can put that in our deck. What do they get? Undergrowth Champion. Yeah, looking at that as well. Is that any target? No, target opponent. Right. I think we get down on Nissa, because then we can landfall a lot. And let's get down the Provisioner. Treasure. Treasure. Green. Black. Let's crack one now. And get a... Let's get our Zerator's Proving Ground. We'll add red and a treasure. And we can cast our Hearthhull. And we can station. Now, we won't get it up to be a creature, because then we wouldn't be able to tap it, because as a creature it would have Summoning Sickness. We'll sacrifice one Walker's Theatre. We'll play out the Walker's Theatre again then. Hydra. Obviously we can just play it from the graveyard. We'll add a green. Let's Sawtooth. And let's just get the Verge down. Treasure. Green. And let's play out a Reclaimer. And we'll swing in with Pock. What else do we have in our graveyard? We don't have any permanents. Yeah, let's have our list. Mill 3. Dryad we could get back with our Crucible. Next turn. There is that Undergrowth Champion. We will whack an Ancient Tomb onto the battlefield. Let's just fetch. We have 3 Verdant Catacombs in Brawl. Doesn't really matter. Then there's that. We create a second one. We get more treasures. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We find an elf. We put on an Ancient Tomb. We create a treasure. Doesn't matter. I fetch a land. May just play out Dryad from our graveyard. Obviously, we crack a land. We will station. They have our commander. How very dare you. They get it up to 2. They have pinged us up. Maybe we have to start creating food with the provisioner. Yeah, I think we are going to have to. And get a Crestful and Acropolis. Because it look on Mordire, we see all their hands. Their land. All their cards, sorry. We still don't have another land in hand. There's a solid win, Grace. Oh, don't tell us they're going to be able to burn us out. That's from a graveyard. Oh yeah, that's annoying. It is tapped though. That puts us down to 1. Okay. Obviously now we can't fetch or use our Ancient Tomb. Oh. That was... okay, I need to start doing food earlier. Ureni is going to be tough. But I like this hand. Ramp. Small removal. Ramp. So you'd find ways to play lands from our graveyard, and we are happy days. Ureni having protection from black is going to be slightly annoying. Let us Stomping Ground, play out Cammy, play out the Proving Ground, and next turn we Farseek. Actually, Mace Rigorous Farming. And then Farseek, we may be able to... There's a stick for 1. So Farseek, we might be able to find the land that... Have they got a destroy target enchantment? Wow. They did. That was a bit annoying. A solar transformer. Well, let us Farseek for a... Let's do an underground mortuary. I think I need way... Well, 1 ways to station Hearthhull. Because Cammy, not the best. And then ways to get lands back from our graveyard. Conduit of Worlds means we could get back Vigorous Farming. And they do an Entis Restoration. let's get a commercial district. We'll pitch a swamp. We do need some creatures. That's pretty much their turn though. They do have one mana of any colour. Choose the transformer. Well, that's splendid wreck. We do have quite a few lands down there. Well, next turn we can start drawing, as long as our Hearthhull doesn't get destroyed. They're not too far away from Ureni either. Yeah. Dragon on the battlefield's not great. Just more ramp. And a ramp. Wow, they are ramping seriously. Yeah, Ureni's enters or attacks as well, which is sucks basically. We've had a very slow start to our game. This deck's usually a lot quicker than this. Well, there is a provisioner. Let's crew. Let's sack the mortuary. Well, ancient tomb. Create a treasure. Misty rainforest. Create a treasure. Let's get an overgrown tomb. Create a treasure. And then, yeah, we may as well. I'm just going to start creating food now. Yep. Take that. Although the end stone against Ureni is probably not the best. And there he is. Whiff, 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 whiff. They did not whiff. Right, let's sack a swamp. We will actually biotech specialist. Right. We may just be able to do this now. The question will be, do we have enough mana? We should be able to. So you need to keep a red up. There we go. Wasn't quite the win we usually get, but yeah, Biotech Specialist and Tireless Provisioner Scape Shift really did help as well there. We go first with a lot of way to play lands. Get down on the Grazier. Grazier. It's just whacking a swamp. They have a ball. We just get down the Crystal Cave since we don't actually have any more lands to play. They just crack. Let's escape, because if we draw a lot of lands, which we have, then next turn we can play out Azusa. Or maybe we actually just Homnath. Which we can do, yeah. The big mean jelly bean. I'm going to play Liliana, not Squirreliana. They can kill Omnath, but it will do 3 to any target. Next turn, want to get down Hearthhull, station it. They're looking at it. I think they've got something. It's mono black. You'd think they expect they would have. Yeah, if they kill Omnath, we would have to play out. That's alright, we can still then. Oh, they're going digging. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to station. Right, we will station. We will... No, not station. Let's sack a... Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but... Schwamp. Let's explore. See if we get... We don't get a land. But I will station... No, that's going to be really easy for them to kill. Mono black can't really deal with artifacts, but they can deal with creatures. But we get down Sorrow next turn. And then we may turn on Hearthhull to get a bit of value. They are digging for something. Dark Ritual? What are they playing out? Ooh, Phyrexian Obliterator. I'll go face with that. That's a bit annoying. Right. Let's station. And let's swing in. Then we will play out Sorrel. We'll play out Swamp from our graveyard. And let's play out an Azusa. Swamp. Sack that Swamp. Obviously we can let's put it on Azusa. And let's just play out our Birds of Paradise. Unfortunately, Worldbreaker doesn't take out creatures, but we are in a much better position then. I'm not going to play out Aghanim's Awakening, because I wouldn't mind getting back Omnath with it, or whatever else they remove. Now, Hearthhull won't be a creature in our graveyard if they take it out, so we won't be able to get it back with Aghanim's Awakening. If we really need to, we can block the Obliterator with the Grazier. Well, if you want it Grazier, Grazer. I can pronounce words. Because it's obviously 0 power. Yeah, I'll take 8. They're at 9. Yeah, we have lethal in the air if we attack and then tap the Hearthhull to sack a creature, land, and we can buff Birds of Paradise with it. But I'm surprised they don't have targeted removal. Also, we play out Korvold. That sacks a permanent. We sack a land. And obviously you can play a land from graveyard, so it's not really that big of a deal.